Hi everyone, and welcome back to my process. This is Tanya here with the Memory Lane Keepsakes, and this is part 2 of my card tutorial. So, as you know, in the first part we finished up the coloring, and this is what we have so far. So I wanted to come back and show you guys what I'm going to do to enhance this card a little bit more and take it a step further. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add the base, the background base colors to it. And what I'm going to do is I am going to first start off with this red background that I have here. And then I also have this blue background that I'm going to add. So you can use your glue if you choose to. Any type of glue that you have that you love to use. Or you can use your tape runner. So this is my tape runner. And I'm going to use my tape runner so this will be a little faster process. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere that to the back of this card. I'm going to run some tape along the lines here. It's best to go ahead and adhere your background before you add any other embellishments to your card, especially wet adhesives and different things of that nature. So that way you'll have a chance to let your card and stuff dry without having to mess with it too much. And you take a chance of ruining all that beautiful work that you have created. So we're going to go ahead and add this background color right here, which is the red that I chose. And I'm going to try to center this as much as possible. Let's see here. Get this centered. Perfect. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and adhere that right there. And now I'm going to go ahead and adhere this side to the blue part, the blue cardstock. So let's go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to also put some in the center right there to give it a little bit of more adhesive so that way it doesn't come back up. Alright, we're going to center this in the background too, and right here in the center. And this is what we have. So now my card bases are put together. Really, really nice. So I'm really happy with that. And so I can open and close, and my layers are together. So I chose the same colors that was within my background so that way everything will kind of coordinate together. I love when colors coordinate. And so what I'm going to do is I am actually going to go ahead and come in with my Wink Stella. And I love my Wink Stella. Wink Stella gives you like a shine. So I'm going to actually cover the mice with my Wink Stella. And you can give it a little bit of press here and let some of that come down. And I'm going to go over this, and it's going to give it a little bit of a shimmer. So I like to just go over my mice. Just going to go over the mice on this one right here and get that little hand right there. And do the same thing for this one. So you can add shimmer to any part of your card that you choose to. It just gives it a finishing look. And it's best to go ahead and do this first before you add any other embellishments to your card. So you'll have this down first so that way you don't take a chance of smearing anything else you put on it. And you'll see what I mean in just a moment. Alright, so that's been put on there. And it may be a little hard to see on camera here, but it does have a little bit of a shimmer. See the little mouse? It shimmers a little bit there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and place that down there. So I'm finished with that. I'm going to come in with my gel pens. And I'm actually going to add, this is my Jelly Roll pen here. This one is my brown Jelly Roll pen. And I'm actually going to go over the lines that was right here on the basket of the cherries and enhance that a little bit more. And as you see, that adds a little bit of detail right there, just adding those lines, just going over the lines that's already there. And I like to turn my card as I work. And so I'm just going to go over that and then go over this one here. And I just kind of finish it off a little bit. And then we're going to even do the top right here a little bit and come around the sides. And so I have that. Okay, so I have that, and that looks really good. See how it already enhanced it? Look how it just really brought that attention on there. It looks really good. All right, and so now I'm going to add some detail to their vest, since their colors are so similar in the mice outfits here. And I kept it simple so that way the colors will kind of blend in like it need to. I'm going to add some detail to their vest. I'm going to do polka dots. You can even do stripes if you choose to. But I'm actually going to just go in here and just do a circle effect. That's all it is for the polka dots. And I'm just going to do this right here. It's just real simple. Nothing real special about it. You just basically taking your white jelly roll pen and you just basically going in and you making some circles to make it look like they have polka dot vest on. And it's just something really neat as a cool effect to add some different detail to their vest. So I really like the way that turned out. And now what I'm going to do is I'm now going to go ahead and I am going to add my Nouveau drops. So I'm first going to go ahead and start off by doing their eyes. And before I do that, I like to always pull a piece of paper towel in here so that way you can have an area to like squirt this out before you do it. So I'm using this one here. This is the Nouveau Crystal Drops. And this one here is the Ebony Black is what I'm using first. And I'm going to squirt a little bit out to go ahead and get me started so that way I don't squirt out my project. And I see we're ready to go. I like to give that a good little tap there. And I always like to come in and do the eyes. I feel like it enhances the eyes a lot when you add detail to the animals. And I love to do this with my black Nouveau drops. This is basically how I like to do it. So basically I just put a drop there and I just come up and have a little peek. And if you don't like the peek on using your Nouveau drops, you can always tap your project. That way it's not so, and that eye is a little bit bigger. And I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger too to make it match. So it's no wrong thing to do there. So I really like the way that looks and make the eye stand out even more. So I like to get a good little tap to get that back down in there and close that on up there. And I'm going to set that there. And then you can just tap this off if you want to. Just take your card and tap down. And the little peak will fall down some there. So look how it already enhanced the eyes on the mice. Then I'm actually going to go ahead and come in with my Nouveau drops for this one here. This one here is my red berry. This is red berry here that I'm going to be using to do the actual berries. So perfect name to do this one. And again, I'm going to squirt this a little bit out on the paper towel here to make sure we're running real good. And we're just going to put some dots right here in the cherries. And go ahead and put this in here. And I'm going to lift up. And then do like small ones here. And this is so much fun. This is another way to add dimension to your cards. I just really love these Nouveau drops. And they come in an array of colors. And they're a lot of fun. It adds dimension. But this is something you definitely want to use when you have time to make a card. And you want to let them dry overnight. I'm finding that they dry pretty fast. But just to make sure they're totally dry so you don't mess up your creation before you choose to mail it. Or however you get it to the recipient. You want to give them a chance to dry. So if you're in a hurry, the best thing for you to do is maybe do this project in advance. So that way you can allow drying time. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some glossy accents to my pumpkins. Because I love using this. This is one of my favorite things to use. And sometimes the glossy accents like to not come out right away, and that's only because it may get clogged. And one of my things I like to do is take like a needle, like a little pearl needle here, and I stick it in the tip right here, and I just kind of go in. See if I can get this here. Kind of go in and just wiggle this a little bit until I can get it to be unclogged, because this happens from time to time. And then there's also some bottles you can buy too to basically keep that from happening. So every time you get ready to use it, you'll be okay. So now it's coming out. So we're good to go. So that's one way right there if you don't want to get the bottles to be able to use that technique. And so what I'm going to do is come into these pumpkins right here. And now I'm going to add some glossy accents all over the pumpkins. In adding this right here, what I love about adding the glossy accents, you can control the amount that you use. And what it's going to do is give whatever you add the glossy accents to, it's going to give it a raised dimension. It's going to be really wet right now. And then as it dries, it's going to be glossy and it's going to be raised. It's so pretty. This is one of my favorite things to use on cards anytime that I'm designing a card for someone, or just to do it, because I just feel like that little touch of glossy accents just add a lot of detail on even on a simple basic card. And so I'm just putting this right here on all the pumpkins, as you see. And you can even put Wink of Stella on this if you choose to. Or you can just leave it as is if you choose, if you don't have glossy accents or any other details you would like to add. You know, it just depends on the person who's creating the card, like what you like for your card to look like. But for myself, I love glossy accents, so that's what I'm going to be doing to the rest of these pumpkins here. And it takes it a little while for these to dry, and that's okay. And so the next thing I'm going to be adding is going to be my sentiment. And for my sentiment, I'm going to bring this card back in just a moment. But before I do, I'm going to show you guys how to do this technique that I'm going to do. I'm going to do a foiling technique for you guys. So I'm going to move this off to the side here and let this dry for a moment here. And so for my foiling technique, we're actually going to be using the Stamp Perfect. So the Stamp Perfect is right here, and I have my sentiment, wishing you a harvest of blessings. And what you want to do is I have my little piece already pre-cut and already pre-die cut. So this is the die that I use to do this image here. This is second to last to the die that I have. And so what you want to do is use your anti-static pack. And you're probably like, what is an anti-static pack? An anti-static pack is the best thing that you can possibly use for doing any type of embossing or any type of foiling. So that way your image does not stick. It gets all the oils and stuff out of your paper, and anything that you put on there, it causes it to like go away very easy. So I rub that across there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using Versamark. Versamark is clear, and it's awesome to use this ink right here anytime you're embossing. So I'm just going to go over my image that I already have here on the Stamp Perfect, and it's going to be clear at first. I'm going to go over that real good and make sure I get enough ink on there. And even if you don't, using the Stamp Perfect, I can go back and do it again if it's not a good impression. So I'm going to go ahead and close that on up right there. And I am going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment. So you want to press down and make sure you get a good impression there. All right, so I'm going to lift that up, and it looks really, really good. So I'm really happy with that. Just to be safe, I'm going to go down one more time, right there on that A. Okay, that's good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take this out right here and show you guys what I'm going to be doing next. So next is the Versamark stays wet for a little while, so no need to rush. But what you're going to do is great to use a coffee filter, as I have here, because I'm going to be using the embossing powder. This is the Sticky Bond adhesive for glitter and foils. So this right here is perfect to use for what I'm getting ready to do. I'm going to show you guys a foiling technique. So for you viewers out there who do not have a laminator or a Mink foil machine, you won't need it to do this this technique here. This is Sticky Bond embossing powder that I'm using. As you see, it goes on white. So when on white, then I'm going to add a little bit more to make sure I cover all the letters again. And so I know you're like, oh, she's going to waste all that. No, I'm not. I believe in saving whatever I have. So what I'm going to do, the good thing about using this filter here, you can pour the excess right back into this bottle right here. And that's what I'm doing. So you just give it a good little tap, and all that extra goes right back in there so you can use on another project. All right, so I'm going to set that to the side. And what I'm going to do now, excuse the noise because you're going to need your heating tool. And I have here the Martha Stewart heating tool. So you want to go ahead and heat this up right here. And I am going to let this get hot just for a little bit. And you want to also have your foil on hand. So I already cut a piece right here. that I'm going to be using. I chose gold. So I'm going to let that get hot. And what's going to happen is this white sentiment, wishing you a harvest of blessing, it's going to actually get clear, but it's going to become sticky. So we're going to go ahead and add that to our project. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on there now. Okay, that didn't take long at all. And as you see, it got real sticky fast. So look at that. All right, so now what we're going to do, you want to go ahead and go really fast. You want to put the ugly dull side down. That's what they usually say. Put that straight down on your sentiment. And you want to add that to the top here. And you want to rub this in really, really good. So you want to rub this technique in right here. And make sure that you can feel the words. It's like they're raised already. And so basically I'm going to go ahead and lift this up. And what we're going to be looking for is a gold foil technique underneath. So let's see what happens. Let's see if we got a good foil technique. So this is great for anybody who has not taken out time or who doesn't have a laminator or a mink foil machine. You can do it this way too by using the sticky bond powder and the Versamark. And there we have it. So as you see, that A didn't come out so good. So I'm glad that happened so I can show you guys what you can do. So what you want to do is you can go back, you can lay this back down and go back over it again. And just press and rub like I'm doing here. Give it a little bit of pressure like you see here. And you can go over as many times as you want and then lift it up. And that came out a whole lot better this time. And so this is what we have. And this is what it pretty much says right here. Wishing you a harvest of blessings. And that's gold foil. And it looks really, really good. So I'm happy with that. And so I'm going to set that off to the side here. Now I'm going to bring my card back in. And this is what I was saying before. I asked you, this is the only thing that I raised on my card. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to be using this tape right here. This tape right here has a little dimension to it. It's real sticky, but I love it because it can raise your image without it being too high up. So I'm going to cut a strip of that, and I'm actually going to cut a second strip too, so that way I can have two pieces. I'm going to flip this over right here, and I'm going to actually place this to the back of my card. You can actually use one piece. One piece probably would have been enough. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and just do the one piece there. How about that? And we'll just save this other piece, because that sentiment is not huge to the point where I have to waste, you know, that much tape. So we're going to go ahead and just take this off right here, this little sticky part. And just peel that right on off there. And then you're going to just apply it to your card at the top right here. And I'm going to get this centered up here at the top. And then you just press down. Okay. And I still feel some sticky areas, so I'm going to go ahead and go back over this with my actually this side right here. This is the side you need to do, is the dull side. So remember the dull side. Don't do what I just did. And then you want to just lift back up and make sure that there's no more areas that's sticky. Because if you feel any sticky areas, that means you didn't get a good impression at first. But this is another quick way, if you don't have time to hook up that machine, if you do own one, a mink or a laminator, this is another quick way of foiling. And foiling comes in different colors, which is really, really neat. But I found I like this way right here. This way is really fast and quick. But actually using a machine, you do get a better impression, because it's actually pressed and it's heat going in there. So that's what I have so far. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in with my last Nouveau drops. And this one here is the Crystal Nouveau drops. And this one is called Duck Egg Blue is the name of this one. And I'm going to add the embellishments in the corner like I did my card before. And I also have my paper towel to like try this out on here to see. And it does come out really well, so it don't squirt all over my project. You always want to test it out on another sheet first. So I'm actually going to go ahead and apply. And what I love about the Nouveau drops is you can control the amount of Nouveau drop size when you choose to do your impression. So I'm actually going to put some in the corner right here. And I want it to be like this, like a little dot. And then another one. Okay, and then I want to put some more in the corner on this side as well. Keeping in mind, this card is still wet from the other things that I've done to it as well. But one of the cool things about it, I've already adhered all my layers. So this card will have a chance to dry overnight. So that way it'd be ready to be mailed the very next day. So that's one of the cool things about it too. So that's what I'm doing, is adding the last little details here. And that's really, really nice. I love this. And there we have it, my finished card. So thank you guys so much for taking out time to watch part 2 here for my card tutorial. And this is pretty much how the card came out. So as you see, this is the first one. Well, this is the card tutorial that I did here, and this is the very first one that I actually designed. So this one here is what I have for you guys, and I hope you guys were encouraged to go ahead and try your own card. Thank you so much for watching Tanya here at Memory Lane Keepsakes. Guys, if you like this process, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would love to see your comments down below. And again, keep on crafting and be happy while you're doing it. It's about fun. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.